Okay, first of all, we got to talk about what a prism is. We talked about a little bit about this, gosh, a few days ago. So a prism has two bases. Has a base on either end, and they're always the same. Now, a lot of times when we think something sits on a base, remember we talked about that? That's not always true. Especially if I get out a rectangular triangular prism that looks like this. Is this sitting on its base? This is not its base. What is the base of this? What shape? Triangle. It's a triangle base. Okay, so we have to know what the base is in a prism. If I have something like this, a rectangular prism, then they all be bases. They can all be bases because they all have something on the opposite side of them. These are the two types we're going to deal with a lot today. We're going to talk about triangular prisms and rectangular prisms. Pretty much nothing else, which is kind of nice. Prisms is the only thing. You have to be able to tell what the base is, though. If you can't tell what the base is, you will not be able to solve these problems. Okay, so here's the stuff we need for today. I'm going to explain a little more about this because this is the formula we need. So volume is the way something takes up, so the space something takes up. And I'm going to show you some examples. Where did it go? Two things I want to touch on in this slide. First thing I want to touch on is right here. Okay, measured in cubic units. We talked about area. We talked about the square units. This is what we talked about. We found out how many squares could fit into a spoon with a inch squared, and this is about a centimeter. Today we're talking about how many cubes can fit inside something. So like this right here. This is approximately an inch cubed. Okay, not very big, right? That's about an inch. This right here is about a centimeter cubed. Not very big. So everything today, instead of squared, like we were talking about, all the answers are going to be like centimeters cubed today. That 3 means that cube, so talking about cube. Before we were talking about like centimeters squared. This would have been area. Everything today is going to be cubed because we're talking about volume. Okay. The other thing I need to talk about is the formula. Every single prism, no matter what it is, whether it's rectangular formula or prism or triangular prism, has the same formula right here. This is the same formula for every single prism. B volume equals B times H. Now B is capitalized. It means the area of the base. So think about what kind of bases that we can have today. We can have rectangles, and we can have triangles as bases. Okay? Rectangles, base times height. What was triangles again? Remember the area triangles? Base times height, all divided by 2. Yep, we're going to be using those two things today. The H in here is the height of the whole prism. So how tall that prism is. So the big B is the area of whatever the base is. And then the height is the height of that whole prism, the H of the whole prism. So the B could be maybe a rectangle, it could be a triangle, whatever we're given today. All right, so let's practice. First thing we're going to talk about is a rectangular prism. If you want to draw it, this is how you draw it. My front. And then I'm going to put the dotted lines and stuff, so I'm going to do my solid lines first. Okay. And I'm going to start doing my, there we go. And make sure you put in your measurement. Alright, so rectangular prisms are the easiest type to do. Let me show you why. This is the formula. Okay? What's the base? What are the dimensions of the base here? Now today we can say the base is what it's sitting on for rectangular prisms. It's the easiest thing to do. So what are the dimensions of my base here? Yeah, Boston.
3 centimeters by 1.6.
Yep, 3 by 4, right here. Okay, so 3 by 4. This is going to be 3 times 4.2. Okay, multiply those together. What's the height of my whole prism then? It's the height of that whole thing. How tall is it? Yep, 5. Multiply them all together. That's your answer. Rectangular prisms are the absolute easiest ones to do. 3 times 4.2 times 5 is 63 centimeters cubed. Now here's the cool thing for rectangular prisms. You can multiply all 3 of them together. It doesn't matter which order, because we talked about how anything on here could be a base. So really, the side could be a base. It could be 5 by 3 times 4.2. It doesn't matter what order it's in. For every rectangular prism, you're going to multiply all 3 together to get the volume for every single one. It does not matter how tall, how small, how big, fat, whatever. It's always multiplying the 3 together to get the volume. Now some people ask me too, what is volume? What does it look like? Well, here's the thing. Let's pretend that this is my prism, my rectangular prism, and okay, my base is in below, and it's 3 by 3. So what's the area of my base? 3 by 3, 9, right? So that means I can fit 9 blocks on the bottom. All right, so then we have to figure out how tall it is. And the reason we have to know how tall it is because when you find the area of that base, that means there's that many layers of that base going up. So this is like 11 blocks tall. There we go. It's 11 blocks tall. So how many layers of 9 can I fit in there? I can fit 11 layers, right? So how many blocks can fit in this thing? 99. Doesn't look like it, but 99 blocks can fit in that thing. So what you're doing is when you're finding the base, you're finding how many can go just in the bottom. Then when you multiply by the height, you're figuring out how many layers of that base can go inside that prism. So that's why you take the area of the base and times by the height. Let's do some more. Let's do another one. Oh, oops, that's all right. I'm going to do another one, okay? All right, so let's say this is 20 inches. This is 5 inches. This is 8 inches. Find the volume of it. My guess is 800. My guess, sorry. So your base, you could do 5 times 20. There's your height, which is 8. Together, what did I say it was? 800 inches cubed. All right, these are the easy ones. Let's go to the trickier ones now. Okay, we're going to talk about triangular prisms. If you want to draw it, this is how you draw it. First, you're going to draw kind of like a piece of pizza. That's this right here. And I'm just going to do my sides, and I'm pull those down. Now I'm going to make my dotted lines. And make sure you get in your measurement. Now let me show you why these are tricky. Here's the formula. What shape is my base this time? Shape is the base of this prism. Triangle. So for this B, we're looking at the triangle. What are the dimensions of my triangle? Anybody know? What are the dimensions of that triangle? What's this? This is 2. Well, what's this? How can I figure this out? If this is 6, this has to be 6. So to find I have to find the area of this triangle for this big B. So 2 times 6, all divided by 2. It's different for triangular prisms because you have to find the actual base first. And like the other, we can multiply all 3 together. It does not work for this one. Okay, so let's see. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 by 2 is 6. All right, so my big B is 6. Now, I have to take that times the height of the whole prism. How tall is it? 7 centimeters. 6 times 7, 42 centimeters cubed. There you go. Correct. Yep, because area was squared, means it's like a square. Cube means it's actually like 3-dimensional cube. How many cubes can I fit in that thing? All right, you want to try one by yourself? Let's try trying one by yourself. If you want to draw it, this is how you do it. You're going to draw your front. That's this part right here. Then you do your dotted line. Like that. Put in your dimensions. Probably a good idea. Write out the formula and figure out, okay, what is my big B? Figure out your H, your height of it. Are you okay? Okay, let's talk about the area of the base first. It's a triangle. How did you find the big B? What did you do, Boston?
8 times 6.5.
Yep, 8.6 divided by 2. We had to find this first. Okay, so that, I don't know, what is that? Is it like 428, 26, 24? What was the answer just to that? 6.5 times 8 divided by 2. So this was just 26. Just that triangle was 26. Did you get that? Okay. Then I got to take, so I have 26 blocks I can basically fit in my first layer. How many layers do I have here? Does it tell me? How tall is it? 15. So we're going to take that to 15. And you should get 390, what is it, inches cubed. Careful, because sometimes, Hale,
So I took,
you did all of it together and then divided by 2?
no, I took 15 times 6.5. And I still got.
Yeah, that's what another kid in my other class did too.
Will it always turn out that
I
way?
don't know, that's a good question. I'm guessing it will, but like there's no rhyme or reason to that. Like at least I can look at this and see like everything and why it works. Like if you can remember that, are you gonna remember that?
Yes.
You are? Okay, you do you then. You do you. a lot of people don't know what the height is. You gotta remember the height. When I'm looking at this is just the base and the height of the triangle. This is just the triangle that I'm talking about, okay? This is the height of the prism. I don't know if that helps or not, but careful. Let's do some composite figures. Okay, so let's do some composite figures. If you want to draw it in your on your paper, this is a pretty easy one actually. We're gonna do this. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like. It's not my best artwork. It's not my best artwork, but you guys can see it, right? 10, 6, 2, 3. So remember we did composite figures? So write what you have. You have a triangular prism. You have a rectangular prism. Okay, and start doing each of them. So here's the base, here's the height. So first thing we have to do, I'm going to do the triangular one first. I gotta find this. So I gotta find the area of that. So how do I find that again? Just a triangle. Come on. This thing, I'll tell you what. It'll be 10 times 2 divided by 2. That would be just my triangle. Times, what's the height of that thing? So that's this. What's the height right here? 3. Should be 3. So 3, 3. Do I have 3 in the wrong spot?
Yeah.
I feel like it should be here. 3. Because if that's 3, this is 3, this is 3, this is 3, this is 3. So let's see. Is that 10? 30? Is that right? For just the triangular prism? Okay. And the rectangular prism will be 6 by 3 by 2. 36. Add them together. 66. Whatever this is, I think it's inches. Here. So one by one. Last one, let's talk about this one. Sorry about this. So you have the top. You have a bottom. Let's talk about that top prism. What are the dimensions of this top prism? 1 times 7 times what? Yeah. So we have a 1, a 7, and 2.5. Yeah. Let's see. 3, 5, 3. Is it 1, 13.5 or something? No, it's going to be higher than that. 17. Bottom one would be 4, and 7, and 2. Let's see, 28 times 2, 56. Add those two together. I can move it down. Come on. Why does it stop working in the middle of the day? I don't know. All right, let's see. 0.5, 73.5 centimeters cubed. That's all today is, folks. Finding prisms. Finding rectangular ones, finding triangular ones, putting them together, just like what we did. That's it. The last thing I got to show you, so I don't forget, okay? I don't know why there's 4 there. So let's say I have a rectangular prism. Okay? Here's my rectangular prism. And this is 20 inches. This is 5 inches. But I don't know the height. But I know the volume is 2,500. How can I work backwards to figure this out? I don't know the height. That's what I'm looking for. I know the volume. I know 2 of the things, but I don't know the third. What can I do to start figuring it out? Yes?
Could you multiply by 20 and then divide it by 2?
Sure. So let's go back to what we talked about. We know it's going to be 3 things. It's going to be your length times your width times your height. That's how you find your volume, right? Your base times your height. Well, you take 20 times 5 times height equals 2,500. You're right, multiply those two things together. This is 100 times your height equals 2,500. Now you gotta figure out what your h is. And by taking 2,500 divided by 100, you're gonna find what your h is. So what is it? Should be like 25.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're gonna have one like that on it, so I just wanted to make sure that you can find it. Okay? That is it, ladies and gentlemen. The end.